Good morning, everybody. Today's kind of a big day. I get my kids on a school night. I get them overnight. It's the first time I haven't had them overnight on a school night in like 2 years. So don't get divorced, people. It's not the way to be. Better yet, don't get married to somebody you've only known a few months. That's not the way to be, because you will get divorced. And then hopefully you don't have children, because this is hard on them, unrighteously hard on them. All right, so all of that aside, today I would like to talk about what happens at the end of a civilization. Did you know that there's still people that know that COVID was BS, but just think that the government made mistakes? They're so eager to not blame somebody. They will admit that the people leading them are so stupid that they don't know when they're injecting poison into you. But then they'll also go and take the recommendation of those people that they admit are too stupid to know that they're injecting poison into you. How's that for logic? Yeah, no, Trump was just, he was lied to just like you and me. That's the kind of shit I hear from these people. It's insane. It's literal insanity. You have to be just totally out of touch with reality to think something like that. To think that even now, Trump is doubling down on his vaccine creation that he takes credit for, still takes credit for, and yet people still say, oh, he was just taken advantage of. They just used him. Then why do you vote for a fucking president if he can be used? Why do you think he's so strong if he can be used? Pardon my language. It gets me kind of bothered. Dude, there are no presidents in your corner. It's time to grow up, realize that it's you and your community, and there's nobody else coming to save you. Okay? Trump is the one that gave out all the stimulus checks that now bankrupted our nation, because you can't just print endless money. Your country is worth a certain wealth. That is the whole. You can divide that whole up amongst the people. But then if you keep introducing more funds into that system, it's dividing it up smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's if it's actual wealth, which it's not. It's debt. So, but most people think it's wealth, and they still can't see that by subdividing and subdividing and subdividing this wealth, they're becoming poorer. People are blind. People are so full of these book smarts taught to them by Rothschilds. They can't see just the level to which they have been deceived. And there's really no talking to them about it. They get mad. They get ignorant. But that's not at all what I wanted to talk about today. It's just a rant, because I'm so tired of seeing this left versus right bullshit, while they just keep left versus righting us and dividing us against each other. And nobody can see that. They're like, my candidate is going to be the one. It's narcissism, dude. It's just narcissism. If you think, however many years down the line, that you are capable of picking the right candidate and that they actually listen to you, you're off your rocker. You are off your rockers. Nobody is coming to help you. There are no good politicians. And the quicker you realize that, the better life will end up, frankly. Now, here's the thing. people are waking up to that, and that's the good news. But what happens when people start to realize that their construct is a facade? What happens? Well, what happens is things like COVID. It's a show of force, just like in North Korea. It's the same thing as when North Korea marches throughout their whole city, or their whole country, I guess. I don't know how they do it because I've never been to North Korea. But what we see on the news and all of that propaganda are all of these foreign countries throughout the years, all of these dictators marching, big marching goose steps. That's a show of force because they know that their power is actually a facade. And that's exactly what COVID was, guys. COVID was, hey, look at our ability to destroy your lives. You better be afraid. It's the same thing as when Biden said, well, you're going to need, I can't do a Biden voice. I got to practice that one. But he's like, you need F-16s and blah, blah, blah. Why have the Second Amendment when you'd actually need F-16s to combat the government? Dude, that is how your government thinks of you. And I don't care if it's the left or the right, they're the same thing. You have been so deceived, so brainwashed, and so deluded into thinking that there are two sides that all they have to do is make your side win, quote unquote, win every other election, and you're happy as a fucking clam at Christmas. Because that is the depth of your intellect. You can't think yourself out of that box. And that is a result of this all-important school that everybody has to go to. Gotta learn the shape of the world. Gotta learn, you gotta learn your fucking math. I mean, math can be important. Knowledge is not the same as school. Education and intellect is not the same as schooling or indoctrination. And that's what we have. We have indoctrination that gets you ready to listen to the bell, to leave when the bell tells you to, just like a good factory worker, and then do what you're told, take lunch when you're told to. Dude, from the moment you come out, you are trained to be a slave. And you're trained to be a slave all the while you are told this is what freedom looks like.